Hey guys, let's dive right in. Here you can see the engine bay has been cleaned and degreased with KBS Klean, and it's ready for the next steps of the process. The first thing we're going to do is prep the surface of the engine bay by using KBS Rust Blast. I use a spray bottle from Home Depot so I can correctly dilute the concentrated form of this stuff. You'll want to spray down the entire surface you are working on and focus on the areas that are bare metal. I like to use a Red ScotchBrite Pad after spraying on the Rust Blast. This will remove any traces of minor surface rust quickly and let the chemicals do the work on the bare metal surface itself. After you spray down the surface with distilled water, you'll be left with something like this. You'll see a slight haze on the bare metal surface, and it almost has a shimmering color effect to it. That's the zinc phosphate coating left behind, and it's a very good thing for preventing future rust. Now that the surface has been cleaned of contaminants, I am marking up the locations where my tack welds will go for stitching the panels together. I'm just using 1-inch increments. To clarify, you can do this however you'd like. You can fully seam weld like in rally cars, you can partially seam weld where you do 1/2 inch to 1-inch sections of welding and then skip another 1/2 inch to 1-inch section. Or you can stitch weld like me and place hot tacks every 1/2 inch to 1 inch, whatever's going to fit your needs. Obviously, the more weldment, the more rigid the front will be, so you can decide what you need. Marking everything up like this is not necessary, but I like the symmetry and want both sides to match. Again, you can do this however you like. It takes longer, but I find it easier later when it comes time to weld. The first thing I do when I start to weld is focus on the heat I'm putting in. I find an area that's not as critical and it's easy to reach, and just set up a few tacks. Then I go with the setting I like the best. The idea is to have a good weld penetration and a nice flat tack. Thin sheet metal can kind of be tough sometimes though, so take your time and do your due diligence before getting to more critical areas. And this is why I do a few practice welds beforehand. These are a little cold to me, so I will adjust the settings until I get what I'm after. After a long night, I can say I'm really happy with the results. The welds have good penetration, the symmetry is there, and the overall aesthetic is not too sore on the eyes. So I'd say a job well done in my book. Well, this wouldn't be much of a video without the obligatory still shots. Definitely wanted to point out that the copper spoon is a lifesaver when it comes to filling in holes on thin sheet metal. Well, it's been a few days. I got busy with work, school, and life pretty much all at the same time, so I had to pause for a little bit. In doing so, I needed to re-clean, degrease, rust-proof, rinse, and dry before attempting to apply fresh seam sealer and undercoating. After everything was nice and dry, I masked off the engine bay and applied the seam sealer to the underside of the strut towers. I wasn't focused on a pretty appearance as much as I was focused on the protection it provides. I made sure to press the seam sealer into the crevices and then provide ample coverage around the seam itself. Now with the seam sealer dry, I started to apply the undercoating with even overlapping passes and solid coverage. Here's the end result. Nice coverage and clean tape lines. You even get a sneak peek at the final engine bay color. Thanks for watching.